Hey guys, it's Miss O'Brien here. It is Wednesday, January 12th. We miss you. We can't wait for you to come back. I wanted to make another video today to kind of talk about some things that we did today in the classroom. The first one you see behind me is some math stuff. Today in math, we talked about the commutative property and we talked about the associative property. Now, we've been talking about mixed numbers, so where does the commutative property and the associative property come in? In math, everything has a label, a big word for something that we do all the time. The commutative property tells us that 2 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 2. Have you ever thought about those examples where you had a problem and you could do the numbers in reverse and still get the same answer? 4 plus 5 equals 5 plus 4. It even applies to multiplication. 7 times 5 is the same as 5 times 7. The commutative property lets us go back and forth. The associative property comes in when we have 3 numbers. Because our brain naturally chunks some of the information, believe it or not, your brain is putting imaginary parentheses in. For example, if I have a problem that looks like this, 3 plus 2, okay, 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 4 gives me my answer. Well, if I can do it a different way, like for example, 2 plus 4, because I know that 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 3 gives me 9, got the same thing doing it this way and the same thing doing it this way. And that's what the associative property says, that I can rearrange the numbers in the problem. As long as I add all of the numbers together, I'm going to get the same answer. Well, we're going to use that with our mixed numbers. When we do that, we are trying to make it easier for ourselves. So if you look at the problem that I have on the board, 5/10 and 5/10. Well, if I take 5/10 and 5/10, I already know that that is 10/10. And 10/10 is the same as 1 whole. 3 plus 10 is 13. Plus 11 is 24. So I'll just kind of bring those numbers over here. 3 and 10 is 13. Plus 11 is 24. Now you saw how Miss O'Brien struggled with that because she had a lapse in brain. I could do 11 and 10 is 21. Plus the 3 gives me 24. Well, what about that 10/10? That's 1 and the 24. And together my answer is 25. So I am going to pull the answers down on my paper in a way that helps me find whole numbers, 5/10 and 5/10 is 10/10, or in a way that makes it easier for me to add the numbers together. So that's what we're doing in math. We had group work today. We did board work where everyone was in their partner group, and if everybody in your group got the right answer, you got more than just 1 point. I think you were getting 3 points at a time. We did table work. We did Think Central. So those are the things that you can do to practice these skills. In reading, we continued talking about Molly Whoopie. And yesterday we had talked about why Molly Whoopie was a quest. Today we made another bubble map working in groups about why Molly Whoopie was a fairy tale. So everyone made a map, put a circle in the center, and put reasons why Molly Whoopie is a fairy tale. And then branching out from there, all of the things that they could come up with. For example, the repetition of 3s, a giant, in the woods, once upon a time, king and princes, happily ever after, all of those things. And then we did an assignment today, and it's posted on Wednesday of the Google Classroom, and it's titled Molly Whoopie. The question says, Molly Whoopie is a fairy tale. How would Molly Whoopie be different if it was realistic fiction? Realistic fiction has no fairy tale elements. A realistic fiction story might be Nicole woke up for school. Nicole ate breakfast, she brushed her teeth, she grabbed her book bag, and she went to school. She did math, she went to lunch, she practiced her reading, she did some science and social studies, and then she went home. That's realistic fiction. How would Molly Whoopie be different? Now, maybe you choose to rewrite the story, or maybe you choose to point out certain things, like Molly Whoopie and her sisters would not have been dropped in the woods if this was realistic fiction. The family could have gotten some help. So you can do it one of two ways, but that assignment and the Confronting Challenges Unit 6 magazine is posted on the Wednesday for the Google Classroom. So you can find that work there. We can't wait to see everybody. And as always, if you have any questions, have your mom or dad send me a message on Remind. See you soon.